Hello to our lovely listeners. Welcome to Mind Matters, a podcast where we talk about the more shitty aspects of student life, because not everything is rainbows and butterflies all the time. So let's care about us, because shit happens. I'm Jade, your host, a second-year student of creative business. With me here is Anthony, my second host, who is also a second-year CBE student. And we have a special guest today, which is Lay. And we're all going to be talking about homesickness today and how it affects us. At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of students trying to figure everything out just like you. So, Anthony, how are you doing today?
Very great, very great. It's a great day today, but...
No, it's not. It's raining outside. It's a horrible day today. I'm so happy that I'm inside. Lay, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just like, I have so much to do, but I'm so excited to be here.
And tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, so I'm Lay, I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Spain. I'm a second-year creative business student.
What a surprise.
Wow.
We really need some variation here.
We are the best people, so.
We love creatives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, so let's kick off homesickness, right? And one of the first questions that I really wanted to ask you guys is, we're all international students, so when you miss home, do you feel like you miss the place or the people more?
I definitely miss the people, but there is also this feeling of like missing the streets of my city, like walking around in my city, the buildings, the culture, I don't know, but I'd say the people more, of course. Yeah. And the food.
Yeah.
The food.
Oh, that's top one.
I don't know. For me, it's such a difficult concept when you say that you're homesick, because I feel like as long as I saw my family all in one place, if all of them came here, I don't think I would be homesick anymore, But I think that kind of depends on the relationship that you have with your country,
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Zimbabwe is not my favorite place, and I always say that I will never, ever, ever live there. I will never live there. So I think for me, it's more about the people.
Yeah.
And family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes more sense in somehow. I have the same idea with homesickness like Lay, because I can really connect with a place because of the memories that I made there. So as a child, playing in a little village in Spain, those memories that are really significant, like maybe a little bush where you were playing and it still looks the same, And that sometimes makes me also really emotional when I think about it, because I have the feeling that I really didn't went to my old places, to my precious little old places, and sometimes I think it's very important to go there, to just find yourself a little bit again and to see who Anthony was and how he changed,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can be a little bit nostalgic for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, my relationship with my country. I feel like it doesn't really matter that much, but there are some places that I'm just wow, this feels... And I don't think you can get that kind of feeling or vibe from anywhere else in the world.
Definitely.
Other than home.
But I feel like that's going to happen when we leave this city. We're going to think of this city, and this city, and only this city is going to make us feel somehow. That one room, that one classroom, that one corner,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like every single place that you leave, there's a bit of a vibe.
Yeah.
There,
Definitely.
and it's such a specific feeling that I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a specific feeling. And if you think of Leeuwarden, it's that's what that feeling gives you. It's different. But anyways, what is your worst experience with homesickness?
Do I start?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, so I went to Canada for exchange when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
And
That's so young,
But I really wanted to leave. I really wanted to experience, go abroad since a really young age. And I thought I wouldn't feel homesick at all. I was just
come on. Surely you're 16. You're I can do everything by myself. I know everything.
I thought I was just because it was for only, I'm not only, but 10 months. And then I would be back. So I was just at the beginning I was like, it's gonna be fine, and then it was fine for a long time, for like 2 months. But then the winter came, and then Canada, the weather.
That's a big contrast.
And then I was inside a lot, and then I saw how like my family was doing all the things that we used to do when I was there, still without me.
Yeah.
FOMO for real.
Definitely. And then I saw my friends, going to like almost the last year of high school, and I wasn't there, and I feel like then I was like, shit, I am missing out, a part of what my life could have been in Spain. And then I was really homesick for like 2 to 3 weeks, and I remember crying a lot. But then at the same time, I was kind of like really wanting to enjoy that experience, so I kind of was able to overcome that. But of course, homesickness, I think, is something that you never get rid of. Like, there's moments where you're going to feel homesick, and that's okay.
Yeah, also because you're experiencing something different to what you used to.
Yes.
Sure. So I feel like it's something that kind of comes as like a price for being able to be independent and spread your wings and that kind of thing, is that you miss out on what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. It can be a quite scary feeling, homesickness, because you can feel really alone. Besides, it's really weird because you are not alone. Maybe you are with different kind of people, and then you still feel in some way alone,
Yeah.
Super weird. But my worst experience was basically when my parents left the country, and I needed to be here alone in the Netherlands at the age of 16 years with my little brother, and that was quite challenging because it's a different kind of homesickness because basically you can also connect it to people, like we said earlier, right? And in this sense, I had homesickness for the way my parents were living, like my house didn't feel the same without them.
Yeah.
So I felt like I missed that feeling, so that was my worst experience. I had a terrible
I can
experience.
imagine.
Yeah. That must have been tough.
Also with your little brother being really annoying.
Just like, I'm homesick, my parents need to come deal with my little brother. I don't want to deal with him anymore.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No.
So I remember when I first came to the Netherlands, and I went to boarding school my whole life. So I used to come home once every 3 weeks from the age of about 9 years old. So homesickness, I never used to get homesick when I was at school, at boarding school. I would come home twice or 3 times, every 3 months or something. And that was completely fine for me. So I didn't think that moving abroad was going to be a problem. But when I came here during COVID, I came here during COVID in February because I thought that university was going to open. How stupid I was to think that. And I got here and I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone and I couldn't do anything. And I was here all by myself. I didn't know a soul. And when I tell you that I went weeks without even speaking to anyone. And as much as I think loneliness was the main contributing factor, homesickness hit me so hard, and I was really struggling so much mentally as well because of looking at my parents, like you mentioned, and how they were living and what they were doing because COVID didn't really exist in Zimbabwe. I mean, it did exist, but we didn't have strict
So how did you feel basically? Did you feel jealous or?
Yeah, well, a little bit. I think it was just a kind of sadness, and I was just it was just a horrible feeling that my whole family, they just moving on without me.
Yeah.
As if I wasn't even there. And it's something when you leave, I don't know, you kind of expect time to kind of stand still.
Yes.
For a little bit and not to just keep going without you.
Yeah.
But I mean, the world doesn't wait for anyone,
No, it doesn't.
And when you see that other people are out there living their lives without you, you're kind of oh, well, that's not really fair.
Yeah. Especially
but what are
because
they supposed to do? Sit around and do nothing?
Because you used to be part of that, you used to be part of that routine, part of those events, but then you're not anymore.
No.
And then you're like, shit.
Yeah, but homesickness gives me the mental feeling of nostalgia for when you were younger.
as you might have already known, music is often very much involved with mental health. Kind of like how you, for instance, listen to a sad song all day after a breakup. Well, today our guest, they, has brought us their special song, who she can resonate with. Well, Lei, what did you brought?
So my song is Location Unknown by Hon. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. And basically, as I mentioned, when I was in Canada, my friendships there are they are still to this day so strong and so unique. And I remember those months with such a beautiful feeling. Like, it was amazing, but then I had to leave.
Oh.
And to be honest, I think also I'm still to this day homesick about Canada. Oh. And that song, my best friend showed that song to me when we were there. And it's basically about, your location's unknown and I want to go there. And I think it's meant to be about a breakup, but it really fits, and it really fits the feeling of being homesick, about missing someone.
Yeah.
And
that is so beautiful.
You don't know how many times I cried to that song.
Oh, no.
After going back to Spain, it was, and that song I could, I don't know, it's so strong.
I know you feel.
It's such a beautiful song.
What was it called again?
Location Unknown.
I feel like I know it, but
it's really, I think there's 2 versions, but I love the piano, the ballad.
So it's Location Unknown from?
Hone. Honne.
Okay. We'll
look it up, guys.
Instagram,
it's so beautiful. But if you feel homesick, I warn you, you're going to bawl your eyes out.
Oh, God. No.
Oh, Jesus.
Well.
Here we go. I feel like everyone needs a good cry sometimes.
Yes,
it's
I
okay
agree.
to cry, everyone.
It's
Everyone
quite
should know
important.
that. I cry all the time.
Same.
But it feels like a relief crying sometimes. And also
It is a relief.
Yeah,
It
is.
is.
A relief.
I always tell Lei not to listen to sad music when she's crying, but I do exactly the same thing.
Yes.
I always come into a
Yes.
room and I'm just like,
We're going to stop the music.
Lei's crying and she's listening to sad music. I always switch it off. And the other day, Lei comes to my house and I'm crying. And she's like, Jade, but you always switch off my sad music when I'm like...
Yeah.
But I think it really helps this trauma, the little trauma that you have to
Oh, yeah, but
I think you just need to let it out sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like not, but like...
I think that's exactly what... what I always say is that we don't have a problem with laughing when we're happy, with smiling, because we show emotion. But we have such a problem with crying.
Yeah.
But why? Because
That's
if
true.
your body and your emotions are wanting to go out as tears, then let them go out as tears. Why would you stop it? That's not mentally healthy.
So we have found a professional in the field of mental health who was willing to help us out and share some of his tips and how to deal with homesickness. His name is Henk Zantinga, and he's been a therapist.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you, Henk.
Thank you.
And he's been a therapist for 12 years now. So let's hear about the tips.
For this week's episode, here are the following tips I have for you on how to deal with homesickness. Take pictures with you from home. Make sure you are regularly keep in touch with everyone back home. Create a safe place for yourself in the place you are staying at. And lastly, make friends whom you can count on.
I think taking pictures with you from home, I mean, that's kind of the one that really, really works for me. Like, I always have pictures, like, of my family, like, just chilling in my room, and also my friends from home, because, when you move to a new place, you make new friends and you forget a little bit about your friends back home, or you outgrow them. But, I mean, those memories are going to be there forever.
True.
And I love printed out pictures.
Same.
Hate having them on my phone. I do not want to have to swipe through them or rely on a little device to show people pictures.
Yeah.
I want them stuck on my wall. Stuck. Yes.
So you can see
I agree.
them.
I have so many pictures in my room, and it's so beautiful to feel like, even though they're not there, they are still a part of your life right now. Like that, to me, that's the meaning I give to pictures. It's kind of like looking at them and just it's such a beautiful, comforting feeling of knowing that even though you are away, they are still part of who you are.
Yeah.
And also like being able to remember those moments of those
Yes.
pictures, because I don't know, I am the most forgetful person on the planet, and I just forget things all the time. And I'm pretty much convinced that if I don't have those pictures printed out, I will completely forget about those experiences. And that will actually make you more homesick.
Yeah.
If you feel like you've forgotten everything and you don't feel connected to that place anymore, because you don't really think about it as much as you used to.
So true.
You know?
So true. I have the same feeling, by the way. And I found it also quite important, the safe place that he mentioned. Because if you have a safe place created
totally.
by your own, and you can do that with pictures. If you just take your little room, or in my case, I have my toilet.
Okay, can you
elaborate on that?
You know the door from the toilet,
Yeah.
you know, where you're watching at, it's super boring. You see just,
The
I
door,
thought,
yeah.
okay, I need to have something else. So I put pictures of
That's-
all of my memories, important memories, on the toilet door.
Yeah, because exactly, what are you doing when you're on the toilet? You're just staring at the door.
yeah.
That's random, but smart.
I love you for that. I love you for that.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised that you have
Same
that?
though.
I'm really not. It's just such an Anthony thing to do.
It's my safe place.
I
you
love
know?
that. I love
Safe
that. You
place.
have to be, you have to feel safe when you're in the toilet.
Yeah.
So, as we always do every episode, we have a bunch of quotes that are relating to the topic, and we're just going to share them for you. And mine, which is really cheesy and really cliche, but I believe in it with my whole heart, which is home is where the heart is. And that's exactly what I was talking about, where I say that, like, if my whole family was here, I wouldn't be homesick, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like home is like it's such a bigger thing than like a house.
Oh
or
yes,
like a place.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
it does.
it's so much more than that, you know? It's just like, it's a feeling.
It's a
like
feeling.
I explained before.
Yeah.
It's the senses also,
But
like the smell and everything, you know?
I don't know, for me, like there's such a, I mean, maybe this is like me romanticizing sadness, which is not a good thing that I often do. But like there's something really beautiful about being homesick, because that means that you really have like something so strong that makes you feel sad because you miss something, someone, someplace, you know? Like there's, I don't know, like to me, thinking that home is where the heart is, you know? If you're homesick, that means that your heart was somewhere else, and that's so beautiful, you know?
That's true.
I'm really cheesy. I'm really
It's so beautiful.
That's why we have you on this podcast.
Thank you.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That just like made me think of that.
Yeah, of course. To be honest, I have a quote that is really connected with
Oh
your
my God.
idea. So, like, I will have a look. I had it here. Well, the quote is, "There is no shame being homesickness. It means you came from a happy home." Like you told,
Definitely.
you know? Like, it's true. Because, like, if you didn't have this happy environment with the people that you love,
You wouldn't be homesick.
You wouldn't be homesick. And that's why maybe, Jade, you don't you don't connect with places because you don't like that much the Zimbabwe in general, and you connect more to
To the people.
the people.
Yeah.
And it's for everyone in a different way. So where the happiness is in your heart, you will feel the homesickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for everyone to know that homesickness is I hate that it is associated with little kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
hate that homesickness
too.
is associated with little kids, because it makes you feel like, oh, you know, I'm 20 years old, I can't be homesick, you know? It's such a ridiculous thing to even think about, because like little kids get homesick, like they go over to friends' houses, maybe call mom in the middle of the night, "Mom, I really want to
Yeah,
come home."
yeah.
And I mean, I've done that a few times as a kid. I just got somewhere, I'm just like, the vibes are not here.
Let me
Get
go
me the
back.
hell back home. I do not want to be here. But I think that everyone can be homesick. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Definitely.
And it's not something that anyone should be ashamed of because of your age or because of how long you've been living by yourself. It doesn't matter how long ago you left home.
Yeah.
No.
You know? I
Yeah,
think
so
that
true.
it's something that's really special and really
natural.
Yes,
natural.
I think it's really, really natural.
And like, I remember hating to have to admit to people that I was homesick.
Yeah.
And it is still something that I struggle with a little bit, because I'm just like, you know, I miss home. And it makes me feel like pathetic, like embarrassed, like, I miss home, like I'm 20 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so stupid.
Yeah, but I think, you know, even in the future, if we don't live like in our hometowns, we are still gonna feel homesick when we are 50, and it's our, you know, siblings' birthday or something. Like, I think there's also specific days that are gonna make you more homesick, and that's okay. Being homesick is okay.
Sadly, that is it for this episode. We hope that you guys found it a little bit relatable. And Lei, thank you so much for joining us and for all of your insight.
Thank you, guys.
I love having you on this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank
love
you.
doing podcasts with you.
amazing.
Lei also has a podcast, by
I
the way.
do. Go listen to it.
Dial 0.7. I was going to say 0.71, and I was just like, oh, whoops. And thank you to you guys for listening. I hope that you gained something, at least from this episode. And next episode, we are going to be talking about mistrust in team members, which I think that everyone can relate to. So stay tuned, and we will see you next week for mistrust in your team members. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.